Uh, Thank you, everyone, joining us. Sakawi. Mm, okay, I think one of the line is on your side, sir.
On my side.
Yes, can you please switch off the? I think there's one of the line that is on.
I don't think it's from my side.
Uh,
Should I reconnect?
I think so, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, joining us. I really appreciate it. Welcome to another beautiful time on the African Portal Radio TV International. It's Excellencies with us in the studio that we are going to continue with this conversation. This is the third week of this program, and it's educative program, bringing balance to some circumstances, some situation in Africa, and also using it to address some of the problem happening in our society, especially here in Africa. So if you are connecting to this program, kindly share this program. Share this program. Let it go viral. We are still getting that noise. I'm not sure where that noise is coming from. Okay. Hmm. I'm hearing myself back. Okay. Sir, I know you have only one device there. Probably one of the device enter into the studio twice.
Okay, let's let's try it again.
Okay. I think the phone that you are using is the one making that noise. All right, thank you everyone. We are just having some echo, and we want to make sure that we get rid of that echo before we get into the business of the day. There's an echo coming in, and we want to be sure of where that echo is coming from. So, as you are connecting to this program, I just want you to do me a favor: share this program, share it, and let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please kindly share this program. Share it as many times as possible. It's going to be a great conversation on the African Portal Radio, and it's going to be a great time in the studio with His Excellency, one of the great African monarchs that will be joining us on this program this hour. So I want to plead to everyone joining us, please share this program, share it as many times as possible. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please kindly share it. Share it. Your comment also is very, very important on this program this hour. Kindly send your comment. Let's do it together as we are waiting for His Excellency to connect with us. I just believe that it's going to get better and better and better and better. So together we can do it. Together we can make it work. Together we can make this continent a great continent again. So it's in our hand now. We are supposed to do what we need to be done, especially in Africa and times such as this. So let me use this time to welcome everyone and greet you according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. No matter where you are, no matter the country you reside, I greet you And I say, welcome to the African Portal Radio TV. Dumela in South Africa. Ashe, Moloi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shalom to everyone. Hello. No matter where you are, we greet you according to your time zone in Nigeria, in Nakwana, in northern part of Nigeria, Kedu, in eastern part of Nigeria. Ekasan ni gbogbo ibi tó bá wù kí ẹ wà lórílẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire. We welcome every one of you to this beautiful time on the African Portal Radio TV International. I'm pleased as you are coming in, share the program, share it, share it, share it. That is the only thing we can do to make this program go viral. So please share this program. And I will really appreciate those of you that will call in as well. But before that, let me just quickly go to some of the messages that we received since when we started this program. This is the third week, and we have received a lot of messages from different people. I just want to put those messages on the spotlight and for us to attend to some of the messages that need attention. And the Excellency is going to do justice to some of the SMSs or messages that we have for you. So I have a message from Duchess Lawanda, and that is, I will present this wonderful and powerful ancestral historical during our Black History Month. Remember, February also is Black History Month, and we are going to be celebrating that as well on the African Portal Radio in style. So I just want to sincerely thank those of you that you are commenting. Thank you very, very much for your comment. We really appreciate it. His Excellency is back in the studio and it's better and better and better. Thank you very much, sir. He's very okay now. He's 100% fine now. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's quickly go to some of the messages that we received in the last 3 weeks. We start this program, and we have received some messages. One of the great people following us saying that I will present this wonderful, powerful ancestral history during our History Month in America. Thank you for the delivered of truth. I am afraid many African Americans will not be able to disguise it all. All right. So that message is coming from some of the people following us. And also we received messages from Elizabeth Lucas too. Elizabeth Lucas too, on those who have fully knowledge of history that cannot narrate the history. Well done, His Royal Majesty, for unveiling the truth. And only those who are willing to know the truth shall seek for their freedom. Changing our mindset from the slavery to freedom, and uniting together to break the free should be our mission. Without renewed mindset, we cannot transform. So it is time to know our identity. That message is coming from one of our very own, Elizabeth Lucas too. And say, congratulations, His Royal Majesty. May the Lord renew your strength, increase your knowledge, and empower you to spread the truth about our identity. Remain blessed and highly favored. And that is the message from that great one. And also we receive a message, that is a response. We receive a message from Jane as well. And Jane is giving kudos to us, say, thank you, His Excellency, such a good one, my Royal Highness. So those are the few messages. We have a lot of messages that we cannot be open everything and be sharing it on this program. But your feedback is actually one of the things that give us the courage to continue. So keep sending those feedbacks, keep sending those messages. That is the joy of this program, and that is what will be giving us the strength to continue. His Excellency, let me use this time to welcome you once again to the third edition of this great program. And it's also one of the programs that I think is putting balance in some aspect of our life as Africa. All right, sir, let me allow you to quickly get into the business of the day by letting people know what is coming today and introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate your dedication and your sacrifices towards this ancestral mandate. I am His Excellency, King Professor Ambassador Engineer Nyeche Promise Ovina, the Supreme Commander of African Ancestral Kings and Royalty, Eze Ikemba I, Onitsha Lakwa Bishi, Ancient Kingdom, Echi Ethnicity, Rivers State, Nigeria. This is the third edition, and it has been very interesting, very informative, very revealing, and also an eye-opener to so many of us who has not been opportune to understand the implication of tradition, culture, and religion. I want to appreciate those who has devoted their time and resources in following up this talk show on our true identity as Africans and telling the stories of originality by ourselves. I want to say, may the gods of our ancestry and the Almighty God, the Creator, continue to keep and preserve us all, and to perfect the purpose of creation, and that purpose at which nature made us Africans, blessed with abundance of natural and human resources, blessed with abundance of natural endowments, which we have continually and will continue to tap into the streams of wisdom that nature has blessed Africa with. So on this note, I officially welcome us to the third edition of the Ancestral Revelational episode under the platform of the African Radio and TV Portal International, where this program is being anchored. I appreciate the partnerships. I appreciate the encouraging messages from African, both those in diaspora, those within the African continent. Your prayers, your solicitations in terms of encouraging words of wisdom is well appreciated. And we pray that someday we'll all celebrate victory by the light this program has brought to African continent. Once again, welcome to this platform. And thank you for believing in us and for partnering us in this very special ancestral mandate. Thank you once more.
Thank you very much, His Excellency. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time coming out to be part of this program out of your busy schedule. You give us this great time to be able to address some issue in our community, in our society, and also in our continent, Africa. So let me just quickly take you to the discussion of today. What do you have for our people? Most especially in this time that most part of Nigeria are experiencing a great disappointment in government, scarcity of petroleum, crude oil is a big problem in Nigeria now. It's not that it's not there, it's there in the country, but the country is suffering of not having petrol, a country that is actually producing the crude oil. But now they run out of petrol. There's no petrol in many filling stations, no cash flow, and all this are becoming a very alarming and a very big concern to us. What is your view about this? And let's start that conversation from there.
Thank you. I will want to take us a little bit back to who we are. Every human activity is centered on his cultural background. We are Africans. It is often said that culture is the totality of the people's way of life. Now, what are our cultures? What are our cultural activities that add value to our daily living? Why are we suffering? What is the disconnect? And what are the causes of the disconnect between the leaders and the led? What are the disconnect between government policies and its implementation on the governed? What are the disconnect between reality and assumption? What are the disconnect between physicality of the prudence of an economy to an over bloated budgetary overview by government parastatals? What are the disconnect between corruption and transparency, honesty and forthrightness? What are the disconnect between nepotism and true federalism? What are the disconnect between liberality by a leader and selfishness by that same leader? In all this I've mentioned, the disconnect is your conscience. Your conscience is that your subconscious mind that puts you right between your creator and nature. Your conscience is the totality of your right being that judges your subconsciousness when you try to do things that are not right within the human aspect and within good conscience and reasoning. Now, bringing it back to culture, what has culture got to do with our conscience? What has our tradition got to do with our subconsciousness? And that is why we have gotten it all wrong. The sufferings, the pains, and the lack we experience in Africa vis-a-vis Nigeria is based on lack of conscience. The culture of a people molds their character into an average human that is well informed and well cultured in terms of conscience. Before you take an action, you reason within your reasonable atmosphere of consciousness. What will my action result to? Will it be fair? Will it be acceptable by God, by the land, and by all human factors? Where have we lost it? These are questions that we need to answer. Now, coming to talk about conscience, Africans lost their conscience when their subconscious mind was bastardized. And that which would have remolded their conscience would have been religion. But what has religion done to Africans? Religion has done more divides. It has painted our consciousness in a bad light. Sin, and your sins will be forgiven. When you kill someone today, when you commit corruption today, when you commit any kind of crime today, pray to God, your sins will be forgiven. And it ends there. So everybody feels, I will sin, and the next minute I will pray, and it will be forgiven. That is not our culture. That is not our tradition. Religion, by preaching that gospel of forgiveness, no matter your sins, made it a few days for everybody to go ahead and sin and believe that they can be forgiven. But the African culture does not admit that when you sin, you pay for your sins. And that is the consciousness that Africans grew up with, knowing that when you sin, when you commit things that are abysmal, things that are against the culture and tradition of your people, you will pay so dearly for it. So that informed our consciousness and our conscience. We are very, very alive. Knowing that when you kill someone, your life will be on the line. Knowing that when you do things that are against nature, nature will come after you. So people were conscious and their conscience were alive. That made the society to be peaceful, mutual respect, high level of tolerance, and the rest of it. What do you get today? There is no respect for the law. There is no respect for elders. There is no respect for humanity. There is no feeling. There is no human empathy. Because our consciousness is no longer alert and our conscience has been so eroded. Bringing it back to your question, there are ministries in government, there are parastatals, there are agencies of government that deals with natural resources. The ministries of petroleum and mineral resources, so many ministries. Now, by the establishment of the Petroleum Industrial Act, there are the upstream, the downstream, the upstream, mainstream, and downstream sectors of the petroleum industry that takes into recognizance operations, explorations, activities within the oil and gas to ensure that the natural resources we have is being harnessed, is being explored, and is being made available for end users. So the question is, what has happened to the system that these parastatals are no longer functional? What are the issues? What are the challenges? Does it mean that these ministries are dead? Does it mean that these parastatals are dead? The question remains unanswered. And why? There are human activities within these parastatals, but the activities of these humans does not tend towards alleviating the pains of the people, rather alleviating the pockets of the representatives. Those whom these parastatals have been handed over to for the sake of the masses have not lived up to their expectation. And that is where their conscience has been overtaken by their selfishness. The ministries are there, but the activities of the ministry does not gear towards balancing the sufferings of the people. Our products are being exported. Our products are being refined outside the shores of Africa. Now being brought back to the continent of Africa, to the country called Nigeria, in a very unacceptable manner. The components of a crude boils down to not less than 5 to 6 products, finished products. The AGO, the PMS, the DPK, the LPG, and so many of them. Now, when these products are taken out and refined, what quantity of it comes back to the country? That's a question for some persons to answer. And when this product returns back to the country, under what condition does it return back? What is the relationship and the rationale between the export of this product and the import of this product back? What is the social contract? What is the understanding? And what quantity are Nigerians left to get hold of? These are questions that needs to be answered. Policies of government are meant to address the sufferings of the people. And when the policies have good intentions, but the implementations are not well rooted, it becomes a crisis. So, the Nigerian administrative system have put up policies which, by mere admiration, sounds very good, very appealing, and very acceptable. But why is it that its implementation are having a backlash on the people? I want to make this royal assertion that those whom the helm of administration in governance has been handed over to should revisit their conscience. Because our people say, the way how no matter how you tend to immerse the word today against the safety and the health of your people, know that no matter how flourishing it might look today, it will never last. And the end point is doom. So it is better you do the right thing, knowing that God and the gods of your land is watching over you. Because to every life that is being lost based on your maladministration and your political antics, you will pay so dearly for it. So the pains our people are passing through is due to inability of the agencies and parastatals of government that is being mandated to supervise, to implement the policies which government has put on ground for the masses, have neglected their core duties, thereby making it a business affair, not thinking about the welfare of the people. And that is why it is like a crisis situation right now. People are going through a lot. The society is in a mess. You have monies in the account, you cannot access those monies. Policies are meant to ease the pains of the people and not to compound the pains of the people. You say that democracy is the best, but in Africa, in Nigeria, democracy is the worst. We talked about this during our past episode. You bring a system. Before that system becomes effective, you must consider the environment you are implementing those systems. You don't just bring a system, you lord it over a people, and you think that it's easy. Democracy has not been a palatable situation for Africa, because it's a system that catches all human involvement. It is a system based on the way it's being practiced in Africa that removes the voice of the people. You tell me we have House of Representative members at the hallowed chamber of the Green Chamber. We have the senators at the red chamber, and the people's voice and opinion are not being tailored, what is the need of those representatives? At the local council level, you have the councillors, you have the local government chairman. At the state level, you have the House of Assembly members, you have the commissioners, you have the governor, and the people are suffering. This is highly unacceptable. Democracy has failed in Africa. The monarchical system, I'll make bold to say, was far better off because it was under the supervision of the gods. Read through history. Any king that tries to lord himself over the people against the will of the gods gets struck by the gods. Death penalty. And that made king.
All right. Thank you very much, His Excellency. I really appreciate it. I think your line had the network dropped there, but we are still on this program. For those of you connecting with us, thank you for the pleasure of your time. Please keep sharing this program. This is one of the program bringing balance and sensational program to our community, to our society, to find a permanent solution to some of the problems facing this continent, Africa. One of the problems facing the communities, and His Excellency is here to deal with this. You are talking about the monarch, government, which you say is far better. You can continue, sir.
Yeah, considering the prevailing circumstances within the African context, democracy hasn't done us good. We, the people, under a sovereign agreement to remain united for a common cause or goal, to safeguard the lives and property of every citizen. That is democracy. Now, can we say that again within the African context, that we, the people, under a common goal of unity, of purpose, for the protection of life and property of every citizen, the safety and welfare of every citizen, can we still say that? The answer is no. Our conscience as Africans was shortchanged by the democratic rule which the colonies brought to us. Having a system where any form of opposition becomes a threat to be handled like a warfare. Go to Western world, oppositions are being treated in fairness, in keen consideration of their opinion. But here in Africa, oppositions are seen as enemies, where war drums are being rolled out to crack down the walls and destroy every form of opposition. In governance, the opposition shapes the opinion of the leading class. They help to mirror areas of interest where leaders has failed to consider. Opposition helps to provide checks and balances in governance, in a democratic setting. But here in Africa, opposition is taken as a terror and treated as a criminal. And you're telling me we are still in a democratic setting? People are not allowed to campaign if you don't belong to a particular political party. When once you make your opinions known, they will say you are anti-government, you are preaching hate speech. Look at where it has brought us today. Both the high and the mighty in the society cannot access Naira as we speak. Everybody is suffering it. Nobody is exempted. Nobody. The petroleum PMS is sold at 450, 500 at pump price. How can the industries survive it? AGO, which is diesel, is sold at 700, 800 naira pump price. How can the factories run? And when you talk, they say you are kicking against the government. The government that was initiated by who? By the colonies. Handed over a roadmap and a blueprint to frustrate Africans and to make us live in hell, in perpetual poverty and penury. And that is what we're experiencing today. Our sincerity is no more. Our consciousness is gone. We are living in a world we don't know what tomorrow holds anymore. We live as the day goes by. Leadership is providing a roadmap of developmental strides where you give your people 2-3 years of mandate that in 3 years we're going to do this, we're going to be here. Informative and proactive leadership that gives people a sense of belonging and hope, knowing that even if we suffer in the next 6 months, we enjoy in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But what is the situation? Gone are the days when you look at yourself and say, I am proud to be this. Our proud factor is gone. So the earlier we begin to talk to ourselves, the earlier we begin to bring our consciousness back, the better for us. So all parastatals of government, all agencies of government, all leaders, no matter the level you operate, it is time to tell yourself the truth. The position nature has made you to occupy is a temporary position. What are your scorecards? What will you be proud of? When you look back tomorrow, you are no longer there. What can you tell your people was your achievement? And that is the message for today. Ebeberu, ugoberu. Kesi beba ya babe, nkuyakwaya. Don't think you can lord yourself over a people for a long time. Nature has made it that the only thing that is constant is change. And when that change comes, some will smile and some will cry. And it's unfortunate that when nature brings changes to you, and it tends to be on the negative aspect of it, based on your activity and your involvement in life, it is the worst that can happen to any human. So we will continue to advocate on the need for our people to take our culture serious. Because the culture of the African continent has a model of mutual respect, tolerance, human feeling, and character evolution. We believe that generations, and generations, we never forget that our true identity remains our pride in our culture and tradition. Now, talking about culture, we all are born from different traditional backgrounds. Because our tradition is the focal point of our belief in our cultural activities and norms, our ethics and value as a people. So the traditional engagements within different climes informs their cultural activities. Our belief centered on our sense of articulation, our purposefulness, our engagements in our environmental activities and factors helps us to remain very focused, very conscious, and well-informed. So the more we divine into our true identity as a people, believing that culture can never be erased, no matter how we try. Our languages will remain alive. Our mode of dressing will remain alive. The kind of food and the type of foods we eat will remain alive. Our immediate environment will remain the same, no matter how we try to change it. So the earlier we embrace, the earlier we reorganize ourselves as a people and realign our activities to our culture and tradition, the better for us. And I want to charge all traditional rulers across the African continent to make bold and stand tall to defend that which their ancestry has handed over to them. Because it is a cause for any traditional ruler to fail in his primary responsibility of protecting, defending, and projecting his tradition and culture. I want to encourage all Africans never to give up. We know that the society is quite unhealthy. The pains and sufferings are quite unbearable. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Because when these processes, which they forced on us, fails, the people will see that what they had was the best. And they will return to that which nature gave to them. And it's already happening. In the health sector, people have seen that traditional African medicines are more effective than the orthodox. A lot of people are falling back to trado medicines. When it comes to religion, a lot of people are falling back to traditional religion. Even the so-called religious bodies consult the traditional altars for solutions. So how come we continue to rob Peter to pay Paul when you know that what you have is unique and you are not ready to embrace it, you are not ready to be proud of it, you are not ready to project it? So I want to encourage Africans, vis-a-vis Nigerians, and all the African countries that are passing through maladministration, bad policies of government, never to give up. Because when the visitor overstays his welcome, you have no option to leave. So these policies of government that are not healthy to Africans, a day will come, they will fizzle off. Because one thing that remains constant in life is change. And that change will come. And we know that this year, 2023, going into the general election, I want to charge every Nigerian, all Africans whose country general election comes up in 2023. Don't look at political parties or loyalty to godfatherism. Look at the future. Look at the future of your nation. Look at the reality on ground and vote your conscience.
And that brings us back to my intro, that our consciousness is very important because that informs our conscience. Our consciousness informs our conscience. How conscious are you about development in your country? How conscious are you about realities on ground? That informs your conscience. Now that we have seen the pains and we are conscious of the situation, let our conscience be our judge. For in 2023, come February, for the general election, 26 to 28 of this month, let all Nigerians arise and vote out any actor or element that will bring pains and sufferings to us. Vote character, vote agility, and vote prudence. Enough is enough. It is not our thing as Africans to go cashless. And that is why the pains are so much. People are now being introduced to a system they are not used to. But African tradition, people keep their monies at home. The yam bands and the traditional cowries and all that are our means of transaction as money. So we are not used to keeping these things away from home. So it is a strange feeling when you are being required to pack all you have and keep in a treasury outside your reach. But we have to embrace it. Since we are thinking globalization, since we are thinking civilization, we have to embrace it. So I encourage everybody, open your account. Let us try the cashless system and see if that will help us in curbing the high level of corruption we have in this country, in this continent. On this note, I don't want anyone to give up on himself. Don't go into depression. Value whom you are. Appreciate the life God and nature has given you and remain focused. The sorrow may last for the night, but the joy will surely come when we make the right decision. On this note, I appreciate all for finding time to tune into this platform and to keep partnering with us. I value each and every one of you, and I want to tell you that the time has come for Africa, and there is no going back. Our culture must reign supreme. Our tradition must challenge every other tradition. Our religion must stand tall against every other religion that speaks against our safety and consciousness as a people. We are not going back. We will continue to trumpet it. And we will continue to expose and reveal every hidden agenda that has brought us to this state of comatose, pains and penury, that our people are no longer safe. Our people can no longer be proud of a 1 square meal a day. It is unthinkable. It is unacceptable. Thank you, Derek, for your time and for this sacrifice. Mother Africa is proud of you. And our ancestors will reward you beyond your expectation. We are proud of this platform. We are proud of all listeners. And we are proud of the African ancestry. Thank you once more.
His Excellency, I really appreciate you for that great message that you put on the space. And I believe that Africa is listening. You know, the problem happening in Nigeria is not only in Nigeria, it's facing all African countries. Like you said, sir, just to put a wrap up on it, the democracy that we say we are practicing in Africa is already disappoint us and it's already putting us in a disarray. You know, the democracy they bring for us is not the democracy they are practicing in England, like we said in last week.
Yes.
England is still practicing their own way of government, not democracy. How
Yes.
can somebody introduce a system that is not actually practiced in their own land to Africa? So it's time for Africa to wake up. This is a program that will bring us back to the reality of the time and for us to think out of the box. We have been boxed for so long, and the solution is for us to get out of the box, think out of the box, and bring a better solution to our life for the future of our children. So before I let us out of this program for this week, I just want us to quickly look at the issues of the coming election. Like you already said to the people that they should vote right, they should vote the right person in power. But we realize now that the only means for people to vote is for them to get their PVC. And many people don't get this. I just wanted to use this also to call to all the Nigerians to go out there and get their PVC, because it's one thing to vote. To say you want to vote, but without the certificate for you to access the poll, you will not be able to do that, and you will not be able to make a rightful decision. So I just want you to do that, sir, before we round up this section.
Yeah, under the umbrella of the African Supreme Council of Royalties, I want to make a clear call and a royal call to all Nigerians. Nigeria is the trigger point of Africa. If you turn the map of Africa this way, it's a gun. And the trigger point of that gun is Nigeria. For Africa to be stable, Nigeria must be stable. For Africa to be progressive, Nigeria must be progressive. For Africa to experience leadership that is theirs, Nigeria must experience a sound, credible, transparent, and accountable leadership. So the election in Nigeria is not just all about Nigeria, it's all about Africa. We are the big brothers in Africa. We are the giant of Africa. And the giant should not be seen as a dog. The situation of Nigeria is like the giant becoming a puppet. It's quite worrisome. We have fought a lot of wars in Africa for Africa. We have stood as big brothers to many nations and restored their democracy. The issue of apartheid policy in South Africa, Nigeria played a 60 to 70% role to bring it into control. How are the mighty fallen? Because of greed, because of selfishness. And that is why every leader that has left his consciousness has failed in leadership. Your conscience should be able to put you right in your quiet time. Ask yourself a question. How is my leadership affecting the livelihood of my people? Some leaders don't ask questions. They take pleasure in seeing people suffer. And that is the democratic sense the colonies brought to us. A leader mirrors his activity by the feelings of the people. What are the response of the people to my policies? The government is a very minute sector of the citizenship. If you calculate the percentage of those in government, it's not up to 2% of the total population. Now, it's over 120 million people. And when you calculate the population of those in government, right from the presidency to the local council authorities, it's not up to 2 million. But the 10% of 120 is 12 million. So if only 2% of population of a people decides what happens to 118 million people, how well informed are those 2%? How sincere are they? How informed are they? How sound are they? What are their track records? Who were their parents? What was their background? Are they well trained, prepared, fortified for the task ahead to lead 120 million people, the most populous black nation in the world? It is unacceptable. This year election, every Nigerian must go get your PVC. If it takes you sleeping at INEC collation centers, do that. Get your PVC. It is your authority to decide your future. Don't sit back. Gone are the days when you say God will do nothing. Faith without work is dead. God will do nothing except you act. God will not act. So it is time for people to act. I keep telling people, there's nothing like miracle without effort. You don't go to school, you don't have certificate, you want to work in an oil firm. What qualification will give you that miracle? You are wasting your time. A young lady, you want to get married to a rich man, how prepared are you? Because beauty will take to his house, character will keep you there. So if you don't have the character, he will marry you tomorrow, the next day, he sent you away from his house. So the earlier we begin to know that Africans have been brainwashed, believing that miracle will do everything for you, the better for us. Miracle does nothing for you. You work your ass out and prepare yourself to get what you want from life, not miracle. Build yourself and prepare yourself. Get equipped. You say, even the Bible you read says, prepare yourself a vessel ready for the master's use. So if you don't prepare yourself a vessel, where will the master use you? Are you kidding me? Are you reading the back of the Bible? Somebody will tell you, come to church from Monday to Sunday, don't do any other thing, God will bless you. Where will the blessing come from? The Bible said, I will bless the works of thy hands. The works of that means there must be works before the blessings. You go and sit down and you are reading a miracle Psalms. You are wasting your time. This is 2023. The earlier you get properly reoriented, the better for you. Stand up, dust your files, discover yourself, align your life to reality, and begin to work for God to bless you. Except that you will remain where you are till the next generation. So Nigerians, get your ass up, get your PVC, get ready to fight the fight. Now is the time to fight the fight. Choose who will lead you. Decide your future. No more time for stories. I will build bridges across the river. We agree. You go build them. But you see, you go tell us how you go build that bridge. Let us speak in our own English now. That bridge you go build, you go tell us how you go build them. The quantity of reinforcement bars, the quantity of granites, everything you will tell us. Enough of these stories. We are no longer children. We have experienced a lot of bad leadership to know the threats of what a bad leader is. And we know them. Even in this election, among the presidential aspirants, we know them. We know them. So if you like, bring all the billions and millions. Thank God there is a restriction now. You can no longer withdraw all the billions you have. And I pray this restriction has to be till the election is over. Because it's enough. You feel you can buy the nation? You feel you can buy the world? Let's see how the money will come out now. A time comes in the life of a people when God and nature decides what happened. And Nigeria is a case study when it comes to purposeful leadership. I keep telling people, in 1983, something significant happened. In 1993, something significant happened. This is 2023. We could have gotten it right in 2003, but we lost it. But this 2023, whether they like it or not, the will of God for the masses and the will of our ancestors must prevail. And that is the mandate all Nigerians should work towards. Get your PVC, get ready to vote and to defend your vote. Thank God the elections, the polls will be transmitted electronically. So no more collation centers where you go and swap already completed ballot papers. It's no longer work this time around. At the polling centers, all results will be transmitted electronically. And everybody will know the results. And the system should be daily monitored. Any soul that tries to truncate the purpose of nature for Nigeria in this coming election, they will face the cost of their life. They will be doomed and they will pay dearly with their blood. Enough is enough. It is time to liberate Africans, and the liberation of Africa starts from Nigeria. The people must have a voice in the governance of the affairs of their life. Enough is enough. Thank you once more, Darren. It's always a passionate time talking about the pains of my people, because I see it, I feel it, and I live amongst them. Thank you for this platform, and royal blessings.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your time. I think we are going to be calling it a day today. Our conversation today is centered on the coming election. Go and get your PVC. That is the only way for you to access the election, and go out there and vote right. And this will be the end to this conversation for today. We're coming back next week for another segment of this program, and we are going to be having the conversation around things that is happening around us, the progress that we are looking for, the solution to some of the problems we are facing traditionally and also psychologically, mentally. That would be the conversation that we are going to be having on this broadcast. And I really want to thank the H. King, Professor, Ambassador, Engineer O.H. Promise for coming out every weekend to be part of this conversation. We really appreciate it, sir. We don't take it for granted. This is a beautiful thing to do for incoming generation. Keep up the good work, sir. And I appreciate your time on this program. God bless you. I will see you again by the grace of God next week. It's going to be more interesting. Next week is going to be more kind of presentation, and it's going to be direct. I'm not going to be inside or monitoring or moderating the program. I will just be behind the scene, listening as well, making some, jotting some certain things down. And you can as well join the conversation by calling on +277033584. And at the same time, you can send us messages on our Facebook page or on our WhatsApp or on our YouTube. You can do that by sending us message or your question ahead, or what do you think we need to talk about. And also, you can also advertise on this program. Call me on +277033584 to be part of this conversation. His Excellency, thank you for today. I really appreciate it. God bless you, sir. See you again next week by the grace of God. It's a goodbye from here. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.